This program is brought to you by the Bureau of Memetic Warfare.
Being diagnosed as autistic and thinking it was the funniest thing in my life, I think my insight on the idea of weaponized autism might be valuable to those who are seeking out tactics to continue stomping out the cultural Marxists. Those who currently use weaponized autism successfully understand that self-awareness of one's autistic behaviors is important, because if you don't know what you're doing, how can you strategically use it? I know I randomly rub the inside of my left palm in a circular motion with the inside of my right middle finger when I am being patient towards another person. I know I squint my eyes and fold my forehead, then relax when I start to feel tired or bored around others. I know I randomly take a quick breath and snap my jaw closed to make a click noise when I think I'm not being acknowledged. I know I briefly tilt my head like a dog when I'm talking to people whenever I feel dominant in a conversation. All of these behaviors are generally done when in the presence of others, particularly strangers. Other than that, I do these things whenever I'm playing out a human interaction in my head. These actions are carried out because in my mind I think it lets others know I am trying to play out the expected roles in human interactions without actually having to say anything, rather than being apathetic towards them, which makes me seem rude. In the past, I've tried to stop myself from doing these things, but it's only resulted in me replacing one autistic behavior with another, so I don't even care anymore. The important thing to remember is that I am aware of my behaviors. As to their consistency and how often I do them, I'm unsure, but I am aware they happen. Another thing I'm aware of is others' reactions to my behaviors. People generally pretend to not notice, but their eyes reveal discomfort and curiosity when they see me do certain things, or at worst, they'll ask me if I'm okay. However, I've become so used to people's reactions to my autism that it's become a game to monitor how they react when I'm interacting with them. It's taken me a long time to get this comfortable with my behaviors in the presence of others. It's actually quite new to me. Another thing that I haven't understood until recently is sarcasm. Up until a couple years ago, I was oblivious to sarcasm. It wasn't until after spending enough time on the internet I finally began to identify sarcasm. Not only am I now familiar with sarcasm, but I have mastered using it myself. There's been times I've used sarcasm so much, I've created sock puppet accounts on YouTube just to use personas stuck in constant sarcasm. I believe people call these pose. However, very few people replying to these accounts actually caught on to my act. Everyone typically fell victim to what I see as my earliest years as a dedicated internet troll. I guess I can say this was my first experience using some form of weaponized autism. Hopefully this brief introduction to what autism is, coming from an autist, has allowed you to understand what autism does and how it is played out in basic human interactions. In the next videos, I will give you ideas on how to use these autistic behaviors as tactics to further agitate and demoralize leftists and establishment pawns, and why these tactics work.